continue on to part 2. So, noticing a lot of health issues. But let me tell y'all, before I move on about the health issues, as soon as my friends hit the state line of North Carolina and Virginia, I felt as if there were these tubes that were sucking on me, like tubes, like energetic cords, if you will, that kept locking onto me. But as soon as we crossed that line, I felt them being yanked off. And I remember as soon as we got to Virginia, I was like, yo, homie, we need to stop by a bathroom. I need to shit. I need to dump everything, like all the toxins are coming out of my body. I need to take a dump. And they were just laughing because they understood what I meant. Like, there's a whole Beckyism here. Okay? So when I say I need to take a dump, it's because I knew that there was toxins in my body that were being released. And that feeling of that coming off, it was beautiful. And of course, I was skunk high. Me and my friends were skunk high. And we were just like laughing, loving the energy, loving that I felt safe. And once we got to Virginia, they stayed with me to make sure that I was okay. And I love that they hung out with me until the next day. I love that they were there for me. And that they handled things. I asked them to handle some things back at the place I was staying at in North Carolina. I had asked them to clean my house for the move out, and I paid them very well because I also knew that I kind of went overboard on throwing salt everywhere. But once I got to DC into a hostel, I noticed that it too it didn't feel safe for me. Like, I didn't feel safe there. I felt like I was being watched. There was like still toxic people around me. And that's one thing you'll notice when you get out of that is you're going to move and you're going to move to free yourself. But because you still carry the energy of being around toxic people and coming out of that toxicity, you're still freshly kind of toxic or toxicized or whatever, you will notice that other people around you will kind of pick up that energy. All right. So when I noticed that in the hostel that I was staying at on 13th and U, there was this other person that was living there. This is during COVID. So this hostel, you had to pay weekly. You couldn't pay monthly. You had to pay weekly, and the prices fluctuated. And I know that like for a week, it would cost like $200 some. So they were kind of feeding off of us. And me, I only received Social Security. That's how financially I knew I was going to be all right, but I had to work within what I had. And one thing that my life coach taught me was there is somewhere there exists what you need and for how much you need it. You just have to look for it or manifest it. And what I did was I looked for it through other people. Other people told me the resources. All I had to do was take action and do it. So this other lady was talking about this other hostel, and it was called High Roads. So I went down with her to Belmont and 18th, and I found the hostel, talked to the person at the front desk, and I got information. So instead of paying about $250 a week, I could pay the $395 as a deposit and only pay $600 a month for a bunk bed and access to the guest areas. a month. And where that hostel was right on the main strip on 18th. And right there at that corner was a bus stop. It was beautiful. So after coming from the hospital back to that 13th and U hostel, I was like, I'm done here. I'm done paying so much. And on December 31st, I moved to the high roads. Yeah, the whole time I'm just like, high roads. I take the high roads and they'll take the low roads. You know? So I was like, the universe has my back. Put me in the high roads. So I stayed at the high roads for about 1 year and 6 months. And I had to go to the hospital maybe twice or 3 times. Had kidney stones and stuff like that. So it was like, when I think about the whole kidney and now having end-stage renal disease, my kidney is my filter. My filter was so caked and clogged up from all the toxicity that I held within me, that it just went kaput. So just know that your emotions, your energy, your body will physically show you where it's at. If you keep ignoring it, then there's a consequence to that. As far as my journey now, like after the whole 1 year and 6 months where I felt safe enough to socialize, to get to know other people, but to also get to know me, to go for my desires. This is a place where I went for my dream to become a massage therapist. I went to school while staying there, and it was beautiful. I met so many awesome people from Brazil to France. It was amazing. From Africa even. I loved that I was surrounded by cultural diversity. And that was when I knew I was going to be okay. As long as I didn't go back, this is the life that I could live. That it could only just get better from here. So it does get better. You will have to go through a few months of being alone and sitting with yourself, but that's temporary. What's permanent is the self-love that you gain from the journey. So I hope that this helps. And I will continue telling my stories. And I hope that this helps somebody realize how beautiful they are. That their life has the ability and capability of being beautiful. But it just takes that one bold, brave move to free yourself from that toxic environment. That's what I have for you for today. Thank you so much for listening. Love you. And I hope you love yourself enough. Thank you for listening. Bye.